So from the CEO perspective, I actually was looking at a great post from, I believe his name's Ethan Mollick, who's a professor for Wharton. And he focuses a lot on the generative AI space. But obviously Wharton, business school is where he's teaching. Uh, he had a great post today about organizations today need to be rewriting and reorganizing the tree, right? We're all talking about AI, but if we're not actually figuring out how to change your organization based on that, by the time the newer tools come out, you're going to be irrelevant, right? Uh, and so the latest one that I actually just am exploring today is how can we leverage AI not just as this, hey, help me write an email, because that's not actually changing our organization, right? That's helping people be efficient, sure. But AI is getting to the point where actually we need to think about it differently. We need to think about it as, can AI be treated as another team member rather than as a tool for team members, which is a totally different mind shift. And obviously there's a lot you have to do there with that. But it can start doing a lot of the work for us. It can also start helping us think about things in different ways. And what does that mean organizationally on how we are set up? So there's that aspect of it, with the obvious side of, everything in product is changing with AI, and we need to be leveraging that to have the best experience possible for our customers. And then on the personal level, there's a lot there. I've been excited about AI and VR and robotics for a long time. My family gets sick of me talking about it. Uh, it's kind of fun to see, though, a lot of the predictions that were so outlandish are starting to happen, and they're happening faster than I thought they would, rather than slower, which is awesome, because I feel like normally it would be the other way around. And it is, if you'd asked me a year ago, my answer would have been very different. With how fast things have changed in the past year, GPT-3 was incredible. And for most people, oh, ChatGPT, that's so cool. That was the big leap. And it was very cool. But for me, the leap from GPT-3 to 4 actually feels bigger than 2 to 3. And I know many people would disagree with me on that. But the level of quality hitting the point where I actually believe it can do better than people in a lot of things, or now having the vision capability, I think that's going to totally transform things. I think that AI over the next decade is going to be incorporated into most things. My wife and I were talking yesterday, and she was saying, the smart home should finally be smart. Where it says, hey, what was the example? She used a great example yesterday. I wish I could remember it. But where your fridge is saying, hey, I noticed you're getting low on eggs. I'm just going to add those to your shopping cart here. And the season's changing here. Let me, like, an actually smart home that's thinking for you, right? And that's just that piece, right? You add that to robotics. There was an interesting article recently saying that robotics is about to have its GPT moment, right? And where you now have AI that's smart enough to be the brain of the robot, the hardware's already there. I would be absolutely shocked if 10 years from now most people are doing their own laundry. I honestly think, if you think of how the aristocracy lived a couple hundred years ago with servants that had things for them, I think the average American will likely have something like that, where you can assume, like, hey, at 5 p.m., dinner's going to be ready. We can come and sit down and have this healthy meal. And if I want to cook, I can, but generally it's prepared for me and the dishes are done for me, and I don't have to worry about that. And I can focus on my personal time with my family. Isn't now, spent trying to catch up on all of these things. Is spent with my family. I think that's going to change our personal lives in ways that we're not anticipating. I think it's going to be increasingly focused on experiences together. And I have hopes that AI will help with the, we'll say, social media problem. So there's a lot on the personal side there, whether it's my personal life or my career, that is going to be changed by all of this. And I think the faster it changes, the harder that's going to be to predict.